Before I teach you the 7 mistakes, I must tell you something about silence. In my grandfather's time, there was no noise, no phones, no voices shouting for attention, just the sound of wind, of work, of intention. And in that silence, men became great, not because they were loud, but because they understood something we have forgotten. They understood that every word has a cost, every action has a consequence, every choice shapes who you become. Today, we live in the opposite. Everyone is shouting, everyone is explaining, everyone is defending. And because of this, most men never become who they could be. They make the same 7 mistakes over and over, and they never understand why their lives stay the same. I am here to show you these mistakes, not to judge you, but to protect you, because I have seen what these mistakes do. I have seen men lose their power, their peace, their purpose, and I have also seen what happens when a man stops making them. He transforms, he becomes, he rises, and everything in his life changes. So listen carefully, because what I am about to teach you, your ancestors knew this, your bloodline carried this wisdom, but somewhere we forgot. Today, we remember. These are the 7 huge mistakes you're making, and today you stop. There is a proverb from my people. The bird that explains why it flies never reaches the sky, because every moment it spends explaining is a moment it is not flying. Do you understand? When you explain yourself, you are not moving forward. You are stuck in the past, defending what already happened. But in your life, this is what happens every single day. Someone criticizes you. Someone misunderstands you. Someone doubts you. And your first instinct? Explain. No, you don't understand. What I meant was, let me tell you what really happened. You got it wrong. Here's the truth. And you spend hours, days, weeks explaining yourself to your boss, to your woman, to your friends, to your family, all while your real work sits untouched. Your dreams wait in silence. Your potential dies in the explanation, because you gave your power to other people's opinions. In my village, there lived 2 brothers. The first brother was always explaining. Someone said he was lazy. He spent 3 days explaining why he wasn't. Someone said he wouldn't succeed. He spent a week defending his dreams. Someone doubted his strength. He spent a month proving it. His whole life was spent in explanation, explaining, defending, justifying. Meanwhile, his younger brother said nothing. When someone criticized him, he just smiled. When someone doubted him, he worked harder in silence. When someone laughed at his dreams, he built them anyway. 20 years passed. The first brother was known as a good talker, a good explainer, but he had built nothing, created nothing, become nothing. The second brother was not famous, not known, but his work was everywhere. His influence was felt. His legacy was real, because while one was explaining, the other was becoming. And the world pays attention to who you become, not to what you say about yourself. So, here is what you do. Starting today,
You stop explaining yourself. When someone criticizes you, you smile. You say nothing. When someone doubts you, you work. You say nothing. When someone misunderstands you, you let them. Because your silence is your power. For the next 30 days, do not explain yourself once. Not to your boss, not to your woman, not to your family. Just work, just build, just become. And watch how fast everything changes. When you stop defending the past, you can finally build the future.
The man with 2 ears and 1 mouth should listen twice as much as he speaks. This is not my wisdom. This is nature's design. You were given 2 ears, 1 mouth, for a reason. But we have reversed it. We speak twice as much as we listen, and our lives show it.
In every conversation, you are already planning your response. Someone is talking, and you are not listening. You are waiting for your turn. You are thinking about what you will say. You are preparing your argument, your defense, your comeback. So you hear their words, but you miss their meaning. You hear their voice, but you miss their heart. And because of this, you make wrong decisions. You give advice to the wrong problem. You help the wrong way. You push when you should pull. You lead when you should follow. All because you did not listen first. You spoke first. And now, everything is off. There was once a chief in a neighboring village. He was wise. Everyone said so. But he had one problem. He did not listen. When someone came to him with a problem, he already knew the answer. He would speak, give advice, move to the next person, fast, efficient, loud. One day, a young man came to him with a problem in his marriage. The chief immediately began speaking. You must be more firm, more strong, more aggressive. That is what your woman needs. So the young man listened and did exactly what the chief said. He became firm, strong, aggressive, and his wife left him. His marriage was destroyed. Years later, that same chief sat with an old woman in his village. She was also having problems with her husband. But this time, the chief just listened. He listened for an hour, said nothing, just listened. Finally, the old woman stopped talking, and in the silence, she found her own answer. She knew what to do. She fixed her marriage. The chief realized he had not given her advice. He had given her something more powerful. He had given her his presence, his listening, and that had healed her. Because sometimes what people need is not your wisdom, it is your presence, and you can only give that when you listen first, speak second. In your next conversation, do this. Listen. Do not speak. Do not plan your response. Just listen. Listen to the words. Listen to what is not said. Listen to the feeling behind the words. Listen for 5 full minutes without interrupting. Then pause. Ask one question. Is there more? Let them keep talking. You will be amazed at what you learn. Because people do not need your advice. They need your ear. Give them that,
and everything changes.
A talking bird will not build a nest. It spends its day telling the world what it will do, while the silent bird gathers the twigs. The difference between these two birds is everything. One announces, one acts. One talks about the nest, one builds it. Guess which one has a home?
But today, you do the opposite. You have an idea, and your first instinct is to post it. I'm starting a business, you announce on Instagram. I'm writing a book, you tell everyone on WhatsApp. I'm changing my life, you declare on TikTok. And you get likes, comments, encouragement. It feels good. It feels like success. But it is not success. It is dopamine. You got the reward before you did the work. So now your brain is satisfied. You have already succeeded in the eyes of others. Why continue? Why do the hard work? You already have the recognition. So most people stop. They never build, they never finish, they never create, because they got the reward too early, by announcing it to the world too early. In my time, there was a man who wanted to build a house. He told everyone in the village about his plans. I will build the greatest house, he said. He described every detail, every room, every decoration. Everyone was excited for him. But then he started the work. It was hard, difficult, lonely. Some days he wanted to quit, but he remembered everyone was waiting. Everyone had heard his promise. So he continued, not because of the house, but because of the shame of not delivering. He built the house. It took 2 years, but when it was finished, it was beautiful. Now compare this to another man. This man also wanted to build a house, but he told no one. He worked in silence, in the dark, alone. No one cheering, no one encouraging, no one watching. Just him and the work. For 2 years, no one knew what he was doing. But when the house was finished, it was even more beautiful than the first. Why? Because he built it for himself, for his vision, not for the approval of others. He was not building to impress, he was building to create. The difference is everything. One man built from external pressure, one man built from internal fire. One was exhausted at the end, one was energized. One had a house, one had a home and a legacy. So build in silence. Let your work speak for itself. Starting today, you build in silence. Do not tell anyone about your goals. Not your mother, not your woman, not your friend. Keep it to yourself. Work for 30 days without announcing anything. Build, create, work in the dark. Then, when you have something real to show, that is when you announce. Not before, never before. Because the work speaks louder than the words. Let your results be your announcement. Let your success be your proof. And watch how people respond differently. They will not doubt you because you have already delivered.
The lion does not ask the rabbit if he is strong. He knows his strength. He does not need permission, does not need approval. He acts from knowing, not from questioning. This is what separates the strong from the weak. The weak ask, "Am I strong enough? Am I worthy? Am I good enough?" The strong know.
But you are constantly asking, "Is this idea good?" You ask your friends. "Can I do this?" You ask your family. "Will people like this?" You ask the internet. And you wait for approval. From people who do not live your life. From people who do not have your dreams. From people who are afraid, so they make you afraid too. And because you are waiting for their approval, you never start. You never begin. You never try. You are paralyzed by seeking permission from people who have no right to give it. Your mother does not know your path. Your friends do not understand your vision. The internet does not care about your dreams. Only you know what you are meant to do. Only you. But instead of trusting yourself, you ask for approval. And that approval never comes, because there is always someone who doubts, always someone who says no, always someone who says you can't. So you wait forever for permission that will never come.
There was a young man in my village. He had a gift. He could carve wood like no one else. His sculptures were beautiful, alive, spiritual, but he would never show anyone. Why? Because he kept asking, "Is it good enough?" He would carve a piece, then ask his father, "Is this worthy? Is this good? Can I call myself a carver?" His father, who had no gift for carving, would say, "Maybe, I don't know. It is okay, I guess." So the young man would doubt himself, destroy the piece, start over. This went on for years. He had the gift, he had the skill, he had the vision, but he did not have approval. So he created nothing. One day, an old man visited the village. He saw the young man working, just working, not showing, not asking. He watched in silence. Then he said, "Stop asking, start creating. Your approval is the only one that matters. Your eye, your heart, your hand, that is your approval." Something shifted in the young man. He understood. He did not need his father's approval. He did not need the village's approval. He needed his own. So he began to create, fully, without asking, without doubting. Within a year, people came from other villages to see his work. They wanted to buy his sculptures. They wanted to learn from him. But it was not because of their approval. It was because he had finally approved of himself. And that changed everything. Your approval is the only approval that matters. Not your mother's, not your boss's, not the internet's, yours.
So this is what you do. Stop asking for approval. Make a decision today by yourself. Do not ask anyone. Should I start this business? You decide. Yes. Should I make this move? You decide. Yes. Should I pursue this dream? You decide. Yes. And you do it alone, with only your approval. For 30 days, make decisions without asking anyone. Trust yourself, believe in yourself, approve of yourself, and watch how your life changes. Because the moment you approve of yourself, everyone else starts to believe in you too.
The seed does not become a tree overnight. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes seasons. But we do not want to wait. We want the tree now, not later, now. So we dig it up, check if it is growing, plant it again, check again. And because we keep interrupting the process, the seed dies. It never becomes the tree. This is your life.
You start a business and expect results in 2 weeks. You begin a project and want it finished in a month. You start a journey and want to see success immediately. Why is it not working, you ask after 3 days. When will I see results, you demand after a week. Should I quit, you wonder after a month. You are so impatient that you never give anything time to grow. A year is not enough. 2 years is too long. 5 years? Impossible. But everything worth having takes time. A strong body takes years to build, not weeks. A successful business takes years to grow, not months. A meaningful relationship takes years to develop, not days. But because we want everything now, we quit too early, we give up too soon, we abandon too fast, and then we wonder why nothing ever works. It is because we are rushing the process, and the process cannot be rushed.
In my village, there was a farmer. He wanted to grow the greatest crops, but he was impatient. So he planted seeds and came back the next day. "Why are they not growing?" he demanded. He pulled them up, replanted them, pulled them up again. Within a week, the seeds were dead. He had not allowed the process. His neighbor planted the same seeds, but he understood patience. He planted them, watered them, waited. Months passed. Nothing seemed to happen. But underground, roots were growing. Foundation was being built. The impatient farmer mocked him. "Look at your field. Nothing. Mine was faster." But the mocking farmer's field was empty, dead. His neighbor waited. After 6 months, something happened. The seeds broke through the soil. Green shoots appeared, grew, strengthened. By harvest time, his neighbor's field was abundant, beautiful, full of life. The impatient farmer had nothing because he would not allow the process. Time is not your enemy. Time is your teacher. The longer you wait, the stronger the foundation, the deeper the roots, the greater the harvest. But you must trust the process. You must allow the time. You must be patient, because nature does not rush, and neither should you. So here is your lesson. Whatever you are building, give it time, at least 1 year. Do not check before that. Plant the seed, water it, trust it. Do not pull it up to see if it is growing. Do not replant it because you are impatient. Just trust. For the next year, commit to the process, no matter what, no matter how slow it seems. Give it a full year, and you will be amazed at what grows. Because patience is the secret weapon of the wise. The impatient man builds nothing. The patient man builds everything.
A man without purpose is like a river without direction. It flows, but it goes nowhere. It moves, but it arrives at nothing. It has energy, but it creates nothing. Purpose is the direction. Without it, you have only motion, not progress.
You started with a reason. When you were young, you had a dream. I want to help people. I want to create something. I want to be free. You had a why. But then, life happened. Bills came. People doubted you. Problems arose. Time passed. And somewhere, you forgot. You forgot why you started. Now you are just going through the motions, working, earning, surviving, but not living. You are tired, unmotivated, empty, because you have lost your why. You are going through the motions, but you have forgotten the reason. So every day feels the same, empty, pointless. You wonder, is this it? Is this all life is? And the answer is no, but you have forgotten your why, and without it, you have lost yourself.
There was a man in my village who was strong, very strong, the strongest in the village. He could lift anything, build anything, create anything. But one day, he was asked, "Why do you work so hard?" He could not answer. He had forgotten. He just worked, every day, the same, over and over. His mother had asked him to be strong, so he was strong. His father had asked him to work hard, so he worked hard. But for what? He did not know. He just kept going, because that is what he had always done. Years passed. He was old now, tired, worn out. And one day, a child asked him, "Grandfather, why are you so tired?" And he realized he did not know. He had spent his entire life working, but he had forgotten why. He had forgotten his own purpose. If his mother asked him to be strong, it was so he could protect people he loved. If his father asked him to work, it was so he could create something that lasted. But he had lost that. He just worked, for no reason. Now it was too late. His life was almost over, and he realized he had not lived it. He had only survived it, because he had forgotten his why. Do not be this man. Remember your why. Write it down. Look at it every morning. Why am I doing this? Not why your mother wanted you to, not why your father expected you to, but why you want to. What is your purpose? What is your reason? What are you building, and for whom? Because without that, you are just going through the motions. And that is not life. That is just existing.
Today, sit down and write your why. Not what you think it should be, but what it really is. I do this because. I am building this for. My purpose is. Write it. Look at it every morning. When you are tired, remember your why. When you want to quit, remember your why. When nothing makes sense, remember your why. Because your why is your fuel. Your why is your direction. Your why is your life. And if you forget it, you lose everything. So remember, always remember. Why are you here? What are you building? For whom? That is your why. That is your life.
You have heard the 7 mistakes. Now, close your eyes. Just for a moment. Close your eyes. I want you to see something. I want you to see the man you could become. If you stop explaining yourself, you become untouchable. If you listen before speaking, you become wise. If you build in silence, you become legendary. If you seek approval from yourself, you become free. If you give the process time, you become great. If you remember your why, you become alive. This man exists inside you. He is not in the future. He is not someday. He is now, right now. He is waiting for you to stop making these mistakes. He is waiting for you to choose differently. So I ask you, will you choose differently? Will you stop explaining? Will you start listening? Will you build in the dark? Will you approve of yourself? Will you allow the process? Will you remember your why? These are the 7 choices. These are the 7 doors. Which one will you open first? Your ancestors are watching, waiting. They have walked this path before. They know the way. And they are telling you through me, stop making mistakes. Start making choices. Become who you were meant to be. This is not a video. This is an invitation. An invitation from your bloodline, from generations of wisdom, from the part of you that knows you are meant for more. So take this invitation, open these doors, and watch your life transform. Because the man you could become is waiting. He is waiting for you to stop. Stop explaining. Stop speaking. Stop rushing. Stop seeking approval. Stop forgetting. And start becoming. I believe in you. Your ancestors believe in you. Now believe in yourself, and everything changes. This is the path of true wisdom. This is the way. Go and become. Peace be with you, always.